MacCready!
So, you impressed yet? I told you I was a damn good shot.
Are you a good shot?
I don't know, I haven't really noticed.
Oh, come on. You've got skills. I'm sure you know talent when you see it.
Is there a specific reason you're trying to toot your own horn right now?
I'm not trying to gouge you for extra caps if that's what you're thinking.
Yes.
I just thought you deserved to know a little more about me. I'm completely self-taught, you know. Picked up a sniper rifle when I was 10 and never looked back. Always thought it was smarter to hit my targets at long range. I mean, why take chances, right? Besides, I had to come up with every trick in the book to survive the Capital Wasteland.
You were from the Capital Wasteland? I can't believe I didn't see you while I was there. Visiting. On vacation last week.
Eating people.
What?
Huh?
Nah.
Lived underground in a place called Little Lamplight with a bunch of other kids. Left there when I was around 16. We kind of had a policy there. No adults. When you were 16, you packed up and left. I know, it sounds crazy, but having adults around was something we couldn't trust.
Seems like kids wouldn't be able to take care of themselves in a wasteland.
I'm skeptical that they could survive down there.
Everyone pulled their own weight. Just like a colony you'd find anywhere. We all had our designated jobs and we watched each other's backs. Can you believe I was actually the mayor for a while? Me. Crazy, I know.
Honestly, that sounds kind of ridiculous.
Maybe, but I kept the colony alive for a couple hundred years. Anyway, when I hit 16, I ended up wandering the Capital Wasteland for a while.
How?
Took the odd job here and there, but things were pretty hot with the Brotherhood of Steel running the show. So I hitched a ride with a caravan and made my way north until I ended up here. Made a pretty decent name for myself before I heard that the gunners needed some sharpshooters. Biggest mistake of my life. They were animals. Killed anything that moved if it got in their way. I went with it for a while because the caps were good, but I don't know. I guess it started to catch up with me. So I quit, which pretty much brings us to now. So there you have it. My whole life in a nutshell.
Feels like that story has some plot holes. Maybe things weren't properly explained, but we'll gloss over that.
Look, I know I tend to be a pain in the ass. I know I tend to be arrogant and I come off like I want to be alone.
Say the word ass, it's fine.
Nothing could be further from the truth. Being alone scares the heck out of me. Now that we've been traveling together for a while, I'm beginning to realize how much I missed having someone I could depend on. I just wanted you to know that I'm going to do everything I can to see that it stays this way. Well, that's all I had to say. Hope you got something out of all that. I know I did.
I did, an earful. Hey, Cait.
You have time to talk now. Still have something important to say.
What's up?
We've been on the road together for a while, and we've taken some hard knocks. But through all that crap, I notice you've always been sticking by me. You know, watching me back and making sure I don't do anything stupid. I think maybe it's time to tell you a little bit about who you're traveling with. There's no reason for us to keep acting like we're strangers.
But we are strangers. We have no idea who you are. Zach punched you in the face a few times. That's all the depth you have, really.
With a sledgehammer!
It all starts with two wastes of humanity I suppose you could call me parents. I'm convinced I was a mistake, because I can't remember a single moment that they treated me like their daughter. I was yelled at and beaten. Everything I did was wrong. Nothing but a nuisance in their eyes. The whole time I was telling myself that they had to love me, even if it was just the tiniest bit, because they never kicked me out. Then me 18th birthday arrived, and I found out why they kept me around. They slapped a shock collar around me neck and sold me to slavers. They didn't even care enough about me to say goodbye. 18 years of suffering through that shite, and all I was worth to them was a pocket full of caps.
Well, at least they respect the age of consent. Or maybe the slavers did, and your parents tried to sell you earlier but couldn't.
Yeah, no, look, I know I'm a slaver and I deal in the trading of people, but, like, I got standards, man. I'm not called barely legal traders for nothing, alright?
Oi, we were talking here.
This is making me uncomfortable. Point of privilege, this makes me uncomfortable. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks. But there's more to the story. It would be easy to blame me charm and personality on me parents, but they didn't make me this way. I did. I was with those slavers for 5 years. Roughest 5 of me goddamn life. The things they made me do. The way they used me for their amusement.
They made me lick their stamps and open their mail.
But I bided me time and learned to use their own methods against them. Stealing a few caps out of a sleeping man's pocket is a piece of cake. as long as you don't get greedy.
Let me guess. Gets worse.
Much worse. It took every ounce of patience I had. But after 5 years, I had finally pocketed enough to buy me own way out of there. But instead of heading off to try and repair the shambles of me life, I gave in to me rage and I headed home. You can imagine the look on me parents' faces when I kicked open their door. What you can't imagine is what they looked like after. After I emptied me gun into them.
And I had the bloody mess perk, so they were everywhere.
I don't know, I've shot a lot of people. It's pretty easy to imagine.
Can't believe you would do that to your own parents.
How can you call them parents? They were opportunists who were taking advantage of a human being just to make a few caps.
I agree.
If I'd come out of that bitch of a mother deformed, they would have drowned me in the river and started again. They didn't give a shite about me. So I didn't give a shite about them. End of story.
Sounds like they got what was coming to them. True justice.
Sounds like they got what they deserved.
Was it justice? Or was it murder? When I close me eyes, all I can see is their faces twisted with fear. And then my mind starts wandering and I start judging myself. And it's ripping me the fuck apart. You'd think I inject myself with all that shite and drink myself drunk because I'm a tough Irish girl. I do it so I can forget and move on with my miserable life. So there you are. The entire flawed package known as Cait, stripped bare for your perusal.
You made it through all that shit and then you still survived, so that definitely says something.
I think I needed to hear that from you. Thank you.
We'll talk to you later, MacCready. Bye. Yeah, we're here for you, Cait. We got your back. Until we get bored of you and then replace you.
I didn't realize you cared that much about me. And here I thought I was being stupid, bothering you with me problems. It feels good to know if I need you, you'll be there for me. And I'll always be there for you, too.
Excellent.
Great.
This won't take long.
Well, that was interesting.
Who keeps building these things? Stop building turrets! The armory. Did we go in the armory before? I think we did.
We've been pretty much everywhere. Oh, God. They put the traps back.
Not only did they redo this, but
Have fun with this junk. I have no idea what any of it does.
I think it's pretty obvious what it does. It's laser tripwires. They set off things.
Probably explosives.
Room secured.
And our reward is...
Ah! It's a fucking MP7.
So there you go.
Mike, I have an MP7.
You already had an MP9.
I have an MP7 now.
And an MP5. Are you collecting MPs 1 through 9?
Yes. I don't know what MP1 is, and I don't know what MP2 is, but I have MP3s. And MP4s. And an MP5. Don't have an MP6. That one actually doesn't exist. Congress made that one illegal. And then there's the MP7. And then the MP8 also doesn't exist. Also made illegal by Congress. And then the MP9, which I have. But I have an MP7 now. It uses 4.6 by 30 ammunition.
That's very specific. I don't think we have that.
No, I don't have any 4.6 by 30. There isn't actually any in here. They didn't leave any at 4.6 for me.
Real shame it doesn't just use 9mm.
Kind of like the MP9 and the P90. It is considered a personal defense weapon.
All weapons are personal defense weapons if you use them.
Shut up! It was developed for, I'm pretty sure, the same contract that the P90 was developed for. Same purpose, different interpretation.
Looks like that one has an extended magazine.
Yes, they make the magazines in a bunch of different capacities. The pistol grip is also the magazine for it. The reason I think this thing is so cool is because internally, it's kind of just a G36 but small. They made it fire a tiny, tiny little bullet. 4.6 by 30 is a smaller bullet, but a larger casing than 5.7 by 28. And unlike the 5.7 by 28 that the P90 uses, the sides of the cartridge are actually tapered.
Oh, okay.
P90 cartridges are just completely straight, which is one of the reasons that the shell casings themselves have to be coated in polymer, because it aids in extraction of the projectile. The 4.6 actually has slightly tapered cartridges, and the bullet is smaller.
What makes you like this gun? What's the biggest draw for this one?
I can't have one, so I want it.
Ah, it's verboten.
Yeah. because it is nice use of German because it is a German gun.
Yes.
Because I can't have one, that makes me want one. 2, it's a gun that Gordon Freeman uses in Half-Life 2. So now I want one.
He uses a crowbar.
Interestingly, in Half-Life 2, they add a grenade launcher to the MP7. It's weird because the way that the MP7 is set up in Half-Life 2 is you see that little circle right there? That's where they think the barrel comes out of, and then this one is a grenade launcher, apparently.
How silly.
It's kind of dumb. I don't like it very much. What are you gonna do? It's fine.
Why would you put a grenade launcher on an SMG? Is that a normal practice?
I guess not really, but it's not without precedent because there are versions of the MP5 with an underbarrel 203 attached to them. It is a thing that people have done before. It is not completely outside of the realm of possibility, but it is a little strange. Kind of the point of a submachine gun is that you have this small, compact, lightweight, easy to maneuver, fully automatic thing.
And then you graft a grenade launcher
And
onto
then,
it.
sticking a heavy grenade launcher onto it isn't really the best idea. And the grenade launchers aren't that heavy. Weight-wise, it kind of would be like taking a submachine gun and then duct taping another submachine gun to it.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you do that? Your thing is no longer lightweight. Anyway, the MP7, like the P90, was designed as a personal defense weapon. A weapon that is given to rear echelon troops who don't need a full-size rifle. Like, giving them an M16 or an M4 or a G36 or a G3 maybe isn't the best idea. So the P90 and the MP7 were both developed for that kind of thing. And then the thing that's interesting to me about both the P90 and the MP7 is that's what they were originally designed for. Nobody used them for that purpose. And then a bunch of tier 1 super sneaky cool guys ended up using the MP7 and the P90 because, damn, this thing is tiny. It fires really fast. That's hot shit. I'll take 7.
All right.
So
Big fans of the high fire rate.
it's more the fact that it's compact and it's a very usable weapon that works very well for them. I just think the MP7 looks so freaking cool.
It does have a very distinct profile.
It's such a cool looking gun. One of the neat things about the MP7 is these sights that are on it right now are actually the sights that the MP7 originally shipped with. So you'll notice that they look like pistol sights, right?
Yeah.
They're flip up AR style sights though. So you flip up the rear and you flip up the front and then you still have other ones. So basically these are just like the emergency sights for real close range.
Okay.
They're for really close range, and then you actually have rifle sights for longer range.
You want to put a scope on that?
I might put like some type of red dot on it. I don't know. We'll see. I need to go back and modify stuff. And I need ammo for it. I have to make ammo.
If you can, yeah.
You know, I wonder if the MP7 is polygonally rifled. I'm going to assume it is. Well, actually, no. I shouldn't make that assumption.
Yeah, how stupid of you to make that assumption.
HK loves polygonal rifling. They love doing it. It's great. I think polygonal rifling is cool because it's another thing that makes brain go burr. I think it's really cool. It also makes it easier to clean. I don't know if the MP7 is polygonally rifled.
But that's common knowledge. How could you not know? A couple different stocks. So you can fold the stock in.
So you can have the stock. You can literally fit this gun into a holster. You're giving someone a gun that is the size of a large pistol, but it has the ability of a small rifle. That is why I love PDWs.
Yeah.
Normally, I don't like a thing that is designed to do multiple things, because that usually means that it doesn't do any of those things very well.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
No, that's different from what I'm talking about.
Well, it sounds like it's what you're talking about. It does many things, but it does not do them well.
There's also more to that phrase that everyone forgets, which is Jack of all trades, master of none is often better than a master of one.
Well,
anyway, people always forget that part.
Well, here's the perfect example of it being that. It's a jack of many trades, and it's not really a master. It's not the best rifle. It's not the most compact handgun, but you like it for a reason. It is in some ways the best of both worlds.
My brain just completely shut down. Why you gotta do this to my autistic brain, man? Why you gotta take? You know I have ADHD and I can't fucking focus. All right. Anyway, I like this. It's.
Sorry, didn't mean to do that to you.
I'm being amusing. Didn't know you were an artist.
I love how the moment I do something, I have 20 people instantly filleting me talking about how good of a job I did.
I know.
Okay, so there you go. See, so you can unfold the sights, and they're like this.
Can't wait to get out of this goddamn heat.
You can unfold the sights, and they're like this, so that you have kind of like these standard, typical rifle-style sights.
Sure,
yes?
it's not bad.
Then you can fold the sights back down, and now they are your typical pistol-style sights. Pistol-style sights are really good for, I would say, out to like 50 yards. Anything more than that, and you're going to want the rifle-style sights.
You could also go for a scope, although I don't know if you need a scope on a submachine gun.
No, having a red dot sight is nice. A red dot sight is a lot easier.
Put the aim point M2 on that.
I mean, some people do.
It looks silly.
It does look silly, but the advantage of the aimpoint M2, without going on a huge tangent about optics, and then the armor on a riser, aimpoint on a riser, aimpoint on another riser, EOTech EXPS3, EOTech 552, and the aimpoint M2. All of these sights do the exact same thing. All they do is project a little dot into the center of the window that you use for aiming. The reason I like putting red dot sights on things like this, and now pistols, we're at a point now where red dot sights have become so commonplace on handguns that multiple manufacturers are just making slides to accept a red dot sight from the factory. Some of them are even making them with a red dot sight already on them. This is something that like 10 years ago, people looked at you weird for putting a red dot sight on your pistol. They were like, no, that's dumb. Why would you do that?
Just use the iron sights.
It's gonna. What happens when the battery dies? What happens if it breaks? What happens if blah 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 blah? Just use the iron sights. This sounds like a skill issue to me.
You're saying that in a mocking tone, but didn't you have that mindset yourself?
Yeah, battery life and durability were the two concerns I had with putting red dot sights on the slide of a handgun.
Yeah, is the battery life long?
Battery life has basically been resolved to the point that most red dot sights have somewhere in the range of 50,000 hour battery life. Basically, what I do is once a year I replace the batteries in my red dot.
Well, you're always complaining about having to put batteries in your pants when driving power armor. Now you're gonna put batteries in your gun too.
I don't have to replace the batteries in my gun every 15 minutes.
I see.
That's why I don't like charging the batteries for my pants, because charging the batteries for my pants, I have to do it every 15 minutes. And then, also, the pockets just fall off of my pants anytime someone sneezes at me.
And your other concern about it possibly being too fragile?
Durability has basically been resolved. There's still some optics. Some optics have more or less durability than others. I really like the Trijicon RMR because it's just made out of a chunk of aluminum. It's just a cast chunk of aluminum that they just do some minor machining work on. I have literally dropped RMRs on top of the RMR and it has taken no damage to it whatsoever.
Okay.
Those are great. SIG and Loophole both do a thing where their optic is... The body is made out of aluminum, and it's relatively thin aluminum, but what they do is they put a steel shield around the optic to protect it from any minor bumps or banging into stuff. A lot of optics have been made with much thicker glass on the front of it, so it's really hard to shatter that glass.
Do the majority of your firearms have red dot sights on them now?
Yeah, the majority of the ones that I use on a pretty regular basis have red dot optics on them. And then one of the other things, like, if you have a red dot optic on a gun, and for some reason your red dot optic goes completely down, that's why you still have backup iron sights on it. Yeah. I still have iron sights on my Glock 17 that I modified. I still have iron sights on that, and it just has a red dot with it. The other thing you can do is you can just use the window of your optic as a giant aiming window, and if you are within about, I would say, 25 yards, you're probably going to get all of those rounds onto the target. It's just not going to be a nice little tight group. They're all going to go into what I like to refer to as minute of person.
Yeah, it won't be a tight cluster, but it'll get the job done.
It'll work. Minute of person is... Okay, so to simplify it very, very briefly, minute of angle is at 100 yards, your grouping will be within 1 inch. Minute of angle is 1 inch at 100 yards.
Okay.
And then what I like to call a minute of person is at 100 yards, all of my rounds are going to impact the torso.
All right.
That's what minute... I jokingly...
You made that phrase up. It's not a normal phrase.
It's not a normal phrase.
Gotcha.
Anyway, going back to these optics... Yeah, all of these optics do the exact same thing. The only reason I said that the EOTechs are different is because EOTechs are not what you would consider a traditional red dot sight where you have a pane of glass that the dot is projected onto. EOTechs are what are called a holographic sight, where it's basically using a laser to project a hologram in the center of the optic. They both have their pros and cons. Red dot sights are generally cheaper. Holographic sights are generally more expensive. And they have more circuitry on the inside of them. However, a holographic sight, the dot does not need to be in the center of the window. You don't really have to worry about parallax. You do, just not as much. Parallax is still a thing that you have to consider, but not really. For the most part, if you have an EOTech and the entire front is covered with mud, except for like the top left corner, you can just move the dot into the top left corner of it, and it'll still be zeroed.
All right.
It's just a kind of a weird quirk of how holographic optics work. They're really cool. I think they're really neat. It does mean that they cost more. Anyway, whatever. They all do the same thing. Basically, what you're getting when you go from something like an RMR to a T1 is you're getting a bigger window. When you go from a T1 to an M2, you get an even bigger window. And bigger window means you get more light transmission, it's easier to see through it, you get a wider field of view. That's basically what it means.
Why would you want to raise your sight up anyway? Why do you put the M2 instead of the M1 of the RMR?
It gives you a more heads-up posture when you bring the rifle up. One of the other reasons to do it is if you were shooting with night vision goggles.
Gotcha.
I also would not put a Spectre DR on an MP7.
Aw, but that looks goofy and fun.
It does look goofy and fun, but I don't really need a 1 to 4 power magnified optic that's ballistically calibrated for 5.56.
Well, you're lost.
And then, oh yeah, you can fold up the grip on the front of the MP7, which is cool. I think that's really neat. I like that it folds.
Yeah, you probably want to have it down, though.
I'm going to have it down for just a little bit more controllability, and then we've got rail left. Let's see. You put a Surefire.
Flashlight.
You can put a PAC 15
Laser
and just a weird other laser.
Yeah.
I don't know if we really need any.
You do what you want to do. It's your MP7. You can also change its...
Ooh, it could be painted.
Yeah. Tiger striped, zebra.
Zebra paint. You know what? We're gonna do the paint line.
Not bad for a relic from
I think that's great. Crazy
Any other
good.
tricks?
Wow, you're so cool, Zach. All right. Anyway.
So, going over it in my head, that whole...
No, Piper. We're not Piper.
Don't you want to console her, Doctor?
No, it's the if you don't romance one of the companions, like almost every time you come back and talk to them, they'll be like, "Hey, you sure you don't want to romance me?"
I see.
That's what that is.
Giving you more opportunities.
Yep, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, now that you have this firearm that you like so well,
Yes.
want to go do something with it?
Yes, we're gonna go do something with it. Good Lord. It's a different button in every single
game.
Every Bethesda game, it's a different button.
I know. I played Fallout 76 last weekend, and it's like, it's a completely different control scheme again.
You know, the one thing I'll say for Fallout 76 is they actually have the nicest community out of any Fallout game.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, other Fallout games, they'll just judge you based on what Fallout game you say is your favorite. Or what companion you say is your favorite, or what quest you say is your favorite, or the fact that you even exist. They'll judge you based on that one. But at least Fallout 76 is like, hey man, you want to like hang out and play some Fallout 76? Because it's like they don't really have anybody else to play Fallout 76 with.
I kind of feel like the Fallout 76 community is being used to being abused.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about what else I can say about the MP7. I'm sure more stuff will come to me. What the? Where's... Oh, good. Okay, I just hadn't moved to the left far enough.
You were wondering where the red rocket was.
What the